Adventures in Anthara, session 22.
Wow!
That's
I
where
don't
we
know about
are.
you.
But I'm feeling. Oh. Um. Hello and welcome back. Mainly to you six.
Haha.
Uh, especially our guest for the second episode, Nico. Welcome. Quick recap before we get back into where we were. The party had successfully captured and returned to Raygrove a Blightling, one of these creatures they had been tracking now for a couple weeks, and started it under a little bit of investigation by some of the locals there, and uh, encountered with some interesting dreams or dreamscape scenarios, TBD for some exactly what happened, and leveled up. Found some new friends who may or may not have since been lost, unfortunately. We'll get to that. And yes, then decided to strike back out into the wetlands in search of now the source of whatever, whether it's the creation, whether it's the conducting. They're not sure. I'm not sure what exactly they're looking for, but something to explain and answer what has been happening in the surrounding areas of Kathos. And after making their way through the wetlands for a few days, they reached the Brass Crag mountain range. In a particular outcropping of that range, they found a sightless stranger, as the YouTube episode is called, um, who they learned was named Ari'Anu, and that's pretty much all they've learned about them. A bit more, but they know that they seem to be blind to some degree, though it doesn't seem to hamper them much, and that they have some apparently faith-based religious connotation somewhere in their past, or at least they seem to pray at various points out loud, and they were found to be meditating when they first met them. Regardless, before too much of the initial conversation could be had beyond we're both looking for things and want answers, they were assaulted by a pack of death wolves, massive black wolves that apparently had hunted them here, tracked them, succeeded with incredible skill to dispatch of said wolves, almost all of which was captured in session 21 despite the technical difficulties. Uh, and then in the aftermath of the fight, which dispatched of Aedwin's newfound friend, the owlbear Lucy.
Guys, I had her for like 4 hours in game.
Yeah, it was not many hours. They sat to recover, discussed a bit, particularly Eclipse and Aedwin had a brief conversation, and then came back to the group to find them goofing off about nose hairs. And that is where we left off. So, group and stranger, what would you like to do?
Just want to say before we get started, it's super dope when the DM says, I have no idea what the hell they're searching for. It's good. It's real good. Shit.
So are we still watching them have their wonderful discussion of the how noses work?
Yep, we left off with you guys about
Still
maybe 60 to 90
actively
feet
happening.
away. Yep.
It's a long conversation.
I mean, you know, I just want to make sure it is resolved to its fullest extent.
Yeah, I think at the tail end of that nose hair conversation, Ari would speak up. We, took a bit of a beating there. I'm sure most of you are exhausted. I trust you enough to take you back to my home. We can rest up a bit, have some shelter before we decide what the best course of action might be next.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
That would be wonderful, thank you.
Of course, it's meant for one person, but I think we can all cram in there as long as you all like each other enough.
How high are the ceilings?
You two might have some trouble pointing to eclipse, and yeah, an Eowyn. But it's serviceable, comfortable, depending on your previous experiences or expectations.
Should be fine. We have tents if need be.
We have
There's that
hammocks.
as well.
We have
We do
hammocks.
have hammocks.
That's specifically why I was wondering about the height, because they only take
I
up
see.
X amount of floor space, but Y amount of height, and the Y is large. So
Interesting.
Hmm.
I could probably clear some space. I don't get visitors often, so it's in a bit disarray.
we wouldn't ask you
We
to
can
make
make it work.
changes to your home on our account.
Hmm.
We'll make do. Any shelter is appreciated.
Well, follow me then.
All right.
On the way over there, could I kind of hang back a little bit and grab Eclipse and like walk with everybody, but behind everybody a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
Hi.
Hi.
You did really good. I just wanted to say you did really good. In this last fight, I also owe you an apology.
Why?
I cast a spell on you without your consent. I changed aspects of your physical form to make you larger, and I did not ask for your permission first, and I realized I was about to do it again in this last fight, and I realized that I would be very uncomfortable with someone doing the same thing to me. So I'm sorry that I did not obtain consent before I did that last time.
I mean, it caught me off guard, but it worked. So, but I appreciate it. I didn't really think about it. So yeah. I mean, if it looks like from your perspective it'd be better to do something like that, even just a heads up is fine, but by all means, go for it. I can cover more ground that way.
Okay. Yeah, I just like I said, I would be uncomfortable with someone having done the same to me, and therefore I felt I needed to at least ask permission in the future. That's kind of one of my tricks for the time being. So
Yeah, I mean, again, whatever way works. I think I saw you shrunk something before too.
yeah, a
So
couple times. It's the same thing. It goes both ways.
okay.
It just doesn't seem any useful to make the bad guys bigger. So
Yeah, yeah. Unless we could get them stuck, that could be kind of hilarious.
option, yeah, option for sure. Um, okay,
But
that was
yeah, I appreciate it. You're fine. It's no big deal.
so. Thanks.
All right. Ari'Anu, would you like to describe where you take them?
Yeah, so we're moving a bit closer to the mountainous range, but not right up to its base. Still shrouded in leaves, foliage, trees, bushes, vines. I bring you to the simplest way I can describe it is a smaller version of Shrek's home.
Love it.
In this swamp. There seems like a massive boulders, kind of again shrouded in like a thick moss. There is what looks to be like a wooden door that is a bit obscured by again like hanging vines and stuff that Ari brushes them out of the way to reveal a more like wooden-esque door. But the surrounding area, if you didn't know this was a home, you would just think it was a stone, a massive boulder here in the wetlands. But again, despite their blindfold and stuff, they are easily maneuvering through this area, and then opening up their wooden door that descends a little bit into the ground. It seems to be dug out into a space beneath this boulder. Please enter. This is my humble abode, if you will.
Do we also happen to hear the distant sounds of Smash Mouth, or?
Mm.
The fatty.
So yeah,
Mm.
so what is the
Oh,
ceiling
shit.
situation looking like in here? Are me and Eclipse
So
fucked or
so Ari is again like roughly like 5'10" ish, and it's probably like 6.5 feet ceiling.
Okay.
So I don't know how tall specifically you all are, but it's probably getting pretty close to.
oh,
Hey, good
you
ones.
know,
I can
Snug.
poke it, probably. That's
yeah, I'm
that's about
fine.
it.
I might be getting a little grazed, but you know, not so
Okay.
I'm
bad.
okay.
Don't have to.
But descending down, it's mostly just one room. Again, it's like a mud staircase. You go down like 1, 2, 3 steps, and then it's just like a dugout area. Mostly earth. There is some like moss padding, like a welcome mat on the ground, if you will. There are like mud shelves and a place to like lay on where there's like a moss bed, some like fluffed up leaves for like a pillow. There is like a stonework chimney that seems to have some kind of like a pulley device that they can use to open up to let smoke exit the home, so they're not hot boxing whenever they want to make a meal. Um, but it is mostly in disarray, just in the sense that it's just covered in vines, pebbles, rocks, leaves, a few like logs for like sitting purposes. But then what I think you would notice the most is along one of the stone walls here, like one of the rocks, is a collage of parchment that are all placed together to form a greater picture, etched with charcoal, and it looks like a rough sketch of where you are right now, this home. But the edges are shrouded in shadow and almost tendril-like appendages clawing, reaching towards the home. And it's just this massive collage along the wall. But that's about it. There's a few like mud shelves of just a few like books, like old books, a few scrolls, but not much else besides that. And they kind of extend their arms to the space. Make yourself at home, I suppose.
Does it look like there's room to put the hammocks if we wanted to like test it out?
Uh, it would probably. If they cleared out some space where their bed is, you could probably fit maybe like 2 hammocks, plus they would be able to use their bed.
Yeah.
But besides that, there's probably not much more room.
They're triple decker hammocks.
Yeah. Yeah, it like but
Oh.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It could potentially work. Again, you'll be squeezing, but as long as you guys like each other enough, then it'll work.
She's kind of calculating all the angles, looking around the room.
I
I think a tent outside would be a good idea for the space. We could also keep watch and make sure nothing's coming this way.
Of course, whatever is most suitable or comfortable for the lot of you. I can at least get started on some food. I'm sure you're all in varying degrees of hunger, perhaps.
can help you.
By all means. I could use the help. Let's see what I can get started with here. And they start removing some of their armor, their patchwork leather pieces, just to take some of the weight off of being outside. And they begin to roll up their sleeves of their tunic, and revealing on their forearms, you would see what looks like used to be tattoos, but they seemed almost like burned away or removed somehow. There is just like the scarrings of what looks like that used to be tattoos on their forearms as they begin to like move through the shelves and gather some food supplies and stuff.
Yaznip's going to find a nice log, sit down, and just start reading his book.
Okay.
Because he hasn't gotten to for a while.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a perimeter outside while they're doing that.
Okay. Keeping an keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
You little tiny bastard. Give you one more fucking chance. 13.
Okay. All right. You make a walk around. Nothing particularly stands out to you necessarily. It seems like much of what you've been traveling through the last couple days. A bit more. There's a bit more rockiness here, given your proximity to the mountains. You do, I would say, hear a bit more of the natural sounds of fauna than you had heard during parts of your trek through the wetlands, where things had gone eerily silent at various points. So that might catch your attention on a 13. But other than that, for now, seems clear.
Okay. I'll just
And
be out
peaceful.
there till asked otherwise.
I can't make like a carrot with druidcraft, can I? Or is it just like what can you do with druidcraft?
Wow!
Huh.
Wow!
Seems kinda
Wow!
broken
wow,
for a
wow,
cantrip.
wow.
I think
Unlimited
it does.
food.
I don't think because you have create food and water, so I don't think I could make a carrot. I think it's just like flowers and leaves and stuff.
Yeah, flower blossom, seed pod opener,
Okay,
bud
no
glue. I'm gonna
carrots.
say no carrots.
But could you make
No
lettuce
carrots.
leaves? Because it's a leaf.
So
Oh
I mean,
my.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna.
I'm
get
gonna
into
say
it.
you'd be limited to like herbs.
Okay. Oh, okay. Herbs are fine.
Yeah, you could probably make some herbs, but
Okay.
not true sustenance.
Okay. Herbs is fine.
What
And
time
I'll
is
help-
it?
It's
It would It would be 5:57.
5:57.
Yasnip.
I'll help Ari'Anu cook whatever they would like to cook.
And you're like creating herbs as well.
Yeah, I can make herbs.
I have some herbs that I use, but some of them are more suited for meditation and helping induce a more relaxing state. Lets the mind be more susceptible to visions and such.
I agree. I have incense too.
You usually want to have food available along with those herbs, though, as well.
You do.
As well
Helps
as water,
offset
I hear.
the effects. Can be a bit stronger, depending if you haven't eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A full stomach is always recommended.
Moving through the space. Who's in the hovel right now?
Everyone but Eclipse, I think.
Okay, everybody clips.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think I probably would have stepped outside as well, actually,
Okay.
because that's very claustrophobic.
The tall
It is.
tall
The
Yeah.
tall ones.
duo,
Talls.
yep.
The tolls.
The talls.
I suppose for those that are within, and if they're paying attention at all, does anyone speak or know Celestial? Read or write Celestial?
No. I don't.
Never mind then.
We didn't take cool languages.
And I'll just go through the motions of making a nice little swamp meal with some herbs and maybe some meats that I've acquired. Just going through it.
Okay.
Mystery meats.
Yeah, don't ask where these have come from.
He just
Just know
opens a
that-
can of spam.
Good enough.
Hey, spam is delicious, and I will accept no slander against it.
Okay.
All right.
Can I step
Cook a
outside
meal.
too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go far, but I just want to go where I think I'm like kind of out of earshot. And
Okay.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry.
cast.
My neighbors upstairs are being crazy, so if you hear
We
anything,
can't hear them at
Oh.
all.
We
I'm
can't all hear
That's
them.
really good at not detecting that much.
That's awesome. I hear it perfectly.
Yep.
Ah, nice.
Continue.
Not a freaking
Good.
sound.
Oh, I just walk a little bit off just to get out of earshot, and kind of lean back against a tree and just be. I'm gonna cast sending.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm gonna say
Wait, to who? Give
to
me
my
more than.
mom.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast it. Whoever's listening.
Yeah. Well, I usually I'll say in the beginning, but
Mhm.
that's fair. I don't. Mama, this is magic. It has limitations, and I can't use it often. We're limited to 25 words. I'll continue to send letters. Love you.
Okay.
I made friends.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Mm. This is my favorite part of this spell is just watching.
Yep.
watching the
that like what?
A few seconds go by, and you hear a response. That's lovely, darling. I'm very proud and impressed. I hope you're staying safe wherever you are. What, did you say where you were? Are you nearby? Would you be able to come visit soon, perhaps? That's where it ends.
Oh,
I'm just gonna hang up for a little bit.
Okay. Food is eventually made.
I think
and
while we're
passed out, I
cooking,
assume.
just a small conversation.
Mhm.
So, how long have you been in the rock?
Oh, time gets a bit strange in solitude. A handful of months.
Full of months. Why are you in solitude?
Partially by choice, partially I was forced to. But I'm following something. A vision.
Is it that? On the wall? The
Yes. It's a long story, but these abilities that I have, and as I'm saying this, I'll manifest an echo, to just appear sitting next to Yasnip. These abilities, I've come to learn them after my previous power was removed. I've had to adapt, but through this research into darker magics, these visions have come to me. They'll gesture to the collage. A strange darkness, ancient, that brings with it the feeling of suffocation, drowning, waves crashing. No escape. The Tide Mother must be missing something in her domain. Something's going on.
I am sorry. Who is the Tide Mother?
Oh, that's... Let me scroll to my religion page. That would be Vaya, the goddess of the sea.
Oh,
or the Tide Mother.
You'd said that you'd been here for quite a while, didn't you?
Yes.
How do you follow something without moving?
This, where we are now, is where these visions have felt the strongest. I feel as though we are nearing the source. Whatever corruption is tainting this land. It's not too far away, but it's obscured. Something masking it. I don't know what it is. Perhaps I am blind after all.
seem to see much.
I see things differently than you might. But I can see a little bit. How's that book you're reading? Looking towards Yasna.
Gonna turn a page back. Settings and connections, inserting beadwork and other jewelry. Quite riveting, really.
A craftsman.
Trying to be.
Better than me.
In terms of crafting?
I'm not very strong in it. There are better.
Could perhaps learn.
I know basics from when I was at Awasai learning from the Arkameyu tribe. But that is not my clan, so I did not go learn more.
I do have to ask. I'm out here for my own reasons. But you, Brightwing, and others included, but you specifically, why leave the seclusion and safety of your home? Are you on some call to action?
I guess you could phrase it like that. I had a call from the wilds. I did not follow it initially, but circumstances changed, and I felt like in order to understand what I am, I need to understand the world around me. So I left. And since then, the wilds have been very strong in where I need to be. And right now, that is here.
And you don't know of religion, of the gods?
We had travelers and traders every once in a while that would say other gods, but we do not. We've only had the wild. We are
The
chose.
verdant mistress means nothing to you then, that name.
I'm sorry, no, it does not.
Hmm.
What does that mean to you?
That would be Syriana, the goddess of nature and life.
I have heard Syriana before, though. Mother Mia. This wonderful herbalist cleric, I don't know what she would qualify herself as, but she seemed to be devoted to this, Syriana.
Ari'Anu, go ahead and roll a religion check for me.
Okay. Religion. Ooh, not great. I think that's just a 5.
Okay.
Oh!
All right. Leave it at that.
But these, you speak of the wilds, and it just... reminds me of her domain. Perhaps it's her, or I'm inclined to believe that it's something else. Your tribe, your people, they were a research point from a time long ago. Your magics, your healing magic, it's not something we were familiar with. It wasn't of the gods or a divine nature. Something else.
I don't know. It's just what I have been gifted to use. The wild is a very mysterious thing. There are answers of nature we will never know.
Suppose that's true. It just intrigues me. And it's interesting that we've crossed paths, all of us. I don't think it's just a coincidence that I've had these visions and now you are all here, seemingly on a similar path. Perhaps the eyes of the Radiant Queen aren't blind to me.
Is that another one?
Yes, that is my goddess. Lay here, the Radiant Queen, goddess of the heavens and skies. But enough of that. We can gather everyone for a nice meal.
As an aside, Brightwing, I will
Yeah.
throw something to you that you may or may not already be thinking about in character. But most of the domains he has mentioned, in your mind, fall within the
Yeah,
wilds.
I was thinking that too.
So it's like, what? I mean, the wilds is in charge of all of this, so why do we need all these gods who just do one part of it? It's kind of like maybe a little bit of what pops into your head.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
I guess I would poke my head out to the toll ones. The food's ready. Whenever you want to come in, or take your time, whatever you need.
Yeah. Right there. Wander in eventually when there's space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Space is a relative word at the moment.
When there's
but...
space at the stove to get the thing and move.
Okay.
I think for the most part Adwin's been staying relatively silent. He's gonna sort of trail in and probably get fit a little bit later.
Okay.
You're trailing in later?
Yeah.
I think Brightwing would have a plate ready for you then.
Fair enough.
I'll sit on the stairs, and then when I hear the footsteps, I'm like, shit.
And I would say your plate has Brightwing's portion of meat, because Brightwing doesn't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
Adwin most certainly does.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
I would say I
And
probably
protein
wasn't within
shakes.
earshot of the dinner bell call, but I probably smelled food at some point and kind of wandered in.
Okay.
Consumption.
All right. Yeah.
I'm not.
is it good? Is it good? How good is
Is
it?
it earthy?
Oh God, should I roll? Should I roll for it?
Sure. Yeah.
Is it like
Roll.
swamp?
Just
is it
roll a
swamp chili?
d20.
Does
Roll
it
a
get
D20.
advantage because
Roll a
there's
D20.
herbs?
Yes, you got helped by
Okay,
Brightwing, so
advantage?
roll with
Okay.
advantage.
It's not
Okay.
basic
Ooh!
white girl food.
Natural 20
There it is.
Wow.
Let's go.
and a 7.
That
So-
rosemary.
The opposite of basic white girl food.
If anyone has ever had like gone on a super long hike or done something super exertion-y, and then you eat just like a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
Somehow it's the
Oh,
best
yeah.
food that you've ever eaten in your
Oh.
life. You're not sure if this is that or if it's actually just really well made, but it is so good. And you all enjoy a hearty dinner.
Mm.
I think just
Uh,
as flavor at during the meal, if there is like idle conversation, Arya is mostly kind of absent-mindedly gazing towards the collage, and kind of just like rubbing their forearms just a little bit, just looking at it.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody else wants to do specifically? Obviously, you guys, there will probably be general conversation that happens. We don't have to go through all of that, but is there anything specific anyone wants to do before the
How
evening wraps?
far are we away from the rock that we met them on?
I'll leave that up to you, Ari.
Like half a mile to a mile. It's not too terribly far.
Short walk ish.
Yeah.
Then I would tell Yasnip that I would like to go to the rock and meditate.
Okay.
Certainly not alone.
Would you like to accompany me, or should I ask someone else?
I'm fine for a hike.
Okay.
May want one more, though.
I'd tag along.
Okay.
Deal with some quiet.
Lead you in meditation if you would like.
Hmm.
Go.
Okay. The three of you head over.
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't take you long. When you get there, it's pretty much sunset.
Hmm.
Oh, cool. I don't have it prepared. Sad life. That's okay. I can still just meditate. Then I'll take my own incense and then just light some of it. And then just whoever would like to join out of the two that joined me, lead them in some light breathing and then full on meditation for Brightwing and whatever whatever they end up doing, because I can't say you meditate.
Do you guys want to try?
I'd say Yasnip entertains it. He'd take an incense and sit down. With just like one eye open.
Okay.
I think I would be more inclined to like sit, like I would participate with that, but then kind of get up and perch up on one of the other rocks to keep an eye out, and also within earshot, but just play very softly on the lute, just like
Oh.
a little mood music or something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just not to be distracting, but that's her own form of meditation.
Okay.
And also instruct Yasip that they don't have to sit like Brightwing sitting. They can lay on their back. They can, like, however they feel comfortable in just sitting and listening is like the best way to do it.
It would definitely be the lay down on the back, head on a rock,
There
one
you
leg
go.
crossed up over the other,
Yeah.
and then just slowly bouncing with the foot to the music. He's lounging. He's
Yeah.
he's not doing much
Yep.
else.
Yeah.
He's hanging out.
And then I would just try to like to connect to the wild while we're all meditating and just see if
Okay.
they have anything to say at the moment.
Okay. Roll a wisdom check. And somebody get on making the 8-bit lo-fi.
Lo-fi, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh wait, I have more things. I'm gonna shift because I can do that.
Yes,
get
you can.
advantage.
If you have one left.
I have 2 left,
Okay.
so I will do that. Yazip, you see, before she meditates, she shifts into her form and connects deeper. It's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And a 17. So both of them would have been really good.
We're burning
For a
them
total
both,
of
right?
I know we're burning them.
25.
25, yes.
Okay. Okay. You slowly drop deeper into this meditation. Open your ears and heart's eye, not your real eyes, and listen to the music faintly from the background. And I'm gonna say, can everyone but Brightwing take off their headphones briefly?
Oh. Oh.
Okay. You get a few things. Initially, you begin to feel a slight breeze blow by you through your feathers, through your hair, warm and familiar. It's the kind of thing that you will often experience when meditating and connecting with the wilds. And then, after a little bit of that, and just the soft whoosh that sort of lulls you deeper, you'll begin to hear a little bit more of a whipping wind. And it's not warm. It's not cold, but it's not that warm, familiar wind. And it f- it's it feels directional. Like most of the wind you feel kind of just flows around you, flows by you, and doesn't seem to come from any particular place. This feels directional. Uh, and it just based off where you're sitting, it's coming from the direction that Yasnip is sitting.
That Yasnip is sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Yasnip used wind during the fight, right?
He cast a spell that seemed to create a shroud of wind around him, yes. You stay in your meditation, eyes closed, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually that whipping wind doesn't fade, but sort of melds in to a point where it's not distracting. And then you begin to hear not the sound of your bird, but the sounds of many birds in a clearly musically orchestrated, like mini symphony almost. It starts very small with just a couple notes, like little woodwinds, and then it builds until there's this like full, almost choir of birdsong. And it also feels directional, coming from the direction of Fae. Still remain meditating, eyes closed, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that slowly melds until it's not distracting. And then you just feel a heavy warmth coming from that seed shape thing that you got from the tree. Sitting, it's on it like you put it on it like a string, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hanging, and you just feel it like heavy and warm against your chest. And it kind of grows warmer. It spreads out. You feel it sort of go throughout your whole body. And you get overall an interesting combination of peace with power. Like, there is some comfort and tranquility here,
Mm-hmm.
but also you sense that there is a force of power, whether it's primarily within you, within the people around you, within this trio or the group. So I'll leave it up to you to decide, but
Mm-hmm.
you sense the wilds telling you that you can have an impact that is meaningful and powerful and hard to obstruct. And that is kind of the culmination, and it fades away eventually.
Okay. What's the sunset look like when the meditation is over?
I would say right around the time you open your eyes, it's kind of like in its final state, and it is deep purples and pinks. Very beautiful over the mountains to the west.
I'm I'm gonna I think thaumaturgy would do this. Just send a little gust of wind to Yasnip.
Holy mackerel, you have so many cantrips.
I have so many
Frickin-
cantrips.
Wow. Okay.
I think I could do that. I'm not sure.
Minor wonder, a sign of supernatural power within range. Few examples. You want to do like a small swirl of wind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say that's doable.
And then slowly get up and then use my bird staff to make some bird calls. Just to match the rhythm that Faye is playing on the lute.
Okay.
And
Alright.
whenever they want to go back, or if they just want to enjoy the sunset.
Up to you three.
As long as there's music, I'm chilling.
Happy to be of service.
Quite enjoyable.
Good to know I'm good for something.
I tipped you the first day, didn't I?
You did, and I never gave that back to you, and I apologize for that.
It's not yours to give back.
I feel like it was given under false pretense.
I enjoyed the music. You performed the music. I paid for the enjoyment. I don't think there's very many other parameters.
That is what tip is.
Yes.
Okay.
An unnecessary gift of some kind. Without request. The tip.
So just regular payment is needed, but if you enjoy it more, you tip.
Depends on the area. Some people don't like it.
Different cultures have different preferences. Different trades have different preferences. Many trades include the cost as what they believe the item is worth. Some people decline, and that's fine. It's really very much down to the individual.
I don't know if I could tip the wilds for that sunset, though. I don't know how
No.
to.
That's a good one.
Could plant a seed.
I don't think this one would grow in the same way as a regular one, though.
I've got a few. I'm gonna pull some of the seed out of my little satchel thing and just kind of throw them around. Let them land where they land.
Hmm.
I don't know if they'll turn into anything, but maybe they will.
That's kind of the best part, though, right? Being pleasantly surprised when something actually comes of it. With no expectation.
Yeah.
Of life's surprises.
Who knows, that seed may go many places before it could take root.
Same could be said for people.
I agree. The stone that is we are standing on might have well been the top of a mountain at one point. Everything has a story.
Rocks travel as far as seeds could?
If the rocks under them decide they don't want to be there,
It could have
And
taken
they're
a
high
very
enough.
long time.
I've heard of this one place where rocks just seem to move throughout the entire area, almost as if they have minds of their own.
Walking the rock.
don't talk about Aedwin like that. He wouldn't like it.
Brian's trying really hard not to laugh.
Yeah. Big chuckles.
Okay. You guys make your way back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so while they're off
Oh.
doing their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of eating, looking around, see this big old mural on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So, how'd you draw that?
With some bits of charcoal from the fire.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Probably should have thought about that. What I meant was, how did this happen? Like, how did it come about? Like, did you just were you just inspired? Or, I mean,
Inspiration doesn't feel like the best word, but this imagery is from a dream, a vision, nightmare that I've been plagued with for quite some time. The setting has changed depending on where I am, but just ever encroaching darkness and feelings of drowning, water. It's not great.
seems
But
like
I've
a
been-
lot.
It is. Been having them for quite some time. Ever since I've researched this magic, if you'll call it. Again, manifesting an echo sitting beside me. Don't know what it means. But it seems you're all here on a similar mission. Trying to find the source for whatever this is. But I
That's
do
clear.
also... Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry. It's just, we still don't really know what exactly we're looking for, you know?
That's what I was trying to meditate on before I was interrupted, if you will. But perhaps that was for the best. I think with you all here now, maybe the visions will become more clear. May have to meditate tonight and see. Have you seen many things in the wetlands? Any thing or anyone out of the ordinary besides myself?
I would say several. Yeah. Quite a few, actually. Massive undead crocodile is the first one that comes to mind. A massive being of weird vines and, you know, other crazy. It was seething this sort of undead vibe, you know. A lot of that similar vibe, actually, throughout the swamp.
What about a woman shrouded in fog?
You have my attention.
You haven't seen her?
Not yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I know who you're talking about.
Does she mean something to you?
Depends
Do you
if
know
we're talking
something?
about the same one.
And they're like really engaged in the conversation now, leaning in.
What information do you have on this thing?
Not much, to be honest. It's also something that I've dreamt of, just a woman emanating a familiar power, but unresponsive to my call. But despite not seeing her face or her acknowledging me, I can feel her looking into me. But not much else. Just fog, surrounded by fog. And just walking before disappearing.
We've heard rumors of an individual known as the Lovely Lady, who lurks within these wetlands. And we have also heard, uttered from the mouth of a fey creature, the name Magilla. That may or may not be a coincidence.
Lovely lady. Magillo. Do those names mean anything to me, DM?
Roll a d20, and I will look at your character sheet.
I would think probably not, so if anything, maybe at disadvantage, but who knows?
Roll it straight.
Okay. Well, I got a natural 19.
Okay. You get sort of a very slight here's what I'll say. You don't recognize anything historically, factually that meets those names or those descriptions. Like there's nothing you've read about, nothing you've seen. But as Aedwin is talking about it, and you are thinking back to your own visions, you just feel this pull on your emotions towards deep grief and fear. It's slight, but it's just like you are more in touch with emotion than most, and sometimes you'll feel small tugs on things that seem to come from places you don't even fully understand. and you get a little bit of that.
And just to clarify, am I feeling this grief and fear from this entity, or I'm just feeling that by making this connection?
It's like you're sensing those emotions from outward, not from within yourself.
As an empath, I can tell they're very disturbed right now.
I hate it.
Mm-mm.
I think with that pole of emotion, the echo beside me fades a bit and more smoke kind of billows out until it settles once again. It's a lot of strange things in these wetlands, and they get stranger still. And I thought I saw a lot of strange things in Beleed, but here there is so much more.
It would appear this swamp is full of surprises.
And the biggest surprise for me has been all of you.
Seriously? I mean, we're literally just people. These are undead creatures brought from under the ground, like resurrected to do an evil thing's bidding, but we're the weirdest things that you've seen.
Weirdest things, relatively speaking. I've been in these wetlands for some time now. I'm used to things going bump in the night. I'm used to thugs and ne'er-do-wells trotting through here, trying to stir up trouble. No one like you all has come through before.
Well, we just haven't stirred up trouble yet. So give us some time.
Does trouble often follow your wake?
It goes both ways, I'd say. We follow it, it follows us. At least it feels like sometimes. Most of the time, we kind of bring it upon ourselves.
Hmm.
You know.
Need to have that balance.
I mean, ideally, no trouble at all, right? Which I guess that's its own form of balance.
Perhaps, but you all seem to come from different backgrounds. It's just interesting that you've all come together.
Bit of a nifty coincidence, as it were.
Where do you two come from?
Look over to Eclipse.
Okay, so I've kind of just been sitting and listening. In passing, he mentioned a city, I think. Would I
I
have
think you
any
mentioned
idea?
Viliad.
Yeah.
Gilead.
Is
Yeah.
that... I don't have the map up, so I don't know.
You're very familiar with Viliad.
Okay.
It is actually technically the closest city to Olea,
Okay.
but not by main roads. It's hold on, I'll put you on the map. Who am I?
Yeah.
Silly
I
silly
don't
bean
have the
town.
map.
It's just that makes it a lot easier, yeah.
Yep. So it's in the kind of crook of this gulf
Yeah.
to the west of Ilmara, north of Olea.
And we're still like around. Where is it? Here
You're
or
up.
something?
Yeah. You're up
Yeah.
here.
Something around there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not too far from home, I guess. It's Alea. Just a little further south of where you mentioned.
A lovely place, I'm sure.
I hope that's still the case.
And what about you?
Bit further south. Just a bit. I'm from Sildari.
All over the place. It's just
The
intriguing
work
to me.
did bring me up to Viliad, and that's where I've been based for a couple years now. But, you know, home's far away.
What kind of work in Viliad?
Oh boy. Hunting monsters, occasionally bounties, protection missions, sort of those types of things. General merc work, you know.
Ari, between that and his shield, which bears an insignia, and his
That you wouldn't
sword.
see.
Right now? Oh, true. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he wouldn't see the insignia on the shield at all.
Your sword too.
And my sword, yeah, he wouldn't see any of that shit.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I think
I'll leave it at
given
that
the
then.
description of
Yes. That.
Yeah.
You would know that I have a sword and a shield, but you wouldn't know what exactly they look like.
Given his description of what he does, you might have some inklings. Regardless of what you can or can't see.
sounds like a lot of the work that the Scarlet Swords got up to.
Yeah. They get themselves into some trouble sometime.
Under the leadership of Captain Doc, right?
That asshole. Yeah.
From my
He's
experience,
a whole
he's
mess.
an unsavory fellow.
Well, you gotta get to know him a little bit. We're all a bit unsavory until we come around. He just takes a bit more work.
Only heard stories. We did work with the Scarlet Swords every now and then. When they needed us. Or when they needed them.
Who is this we?
They kind of lean their head back, hitting the stone wall. Be the Order of the Argent Crest.
Have I heard of these people?
Yes, you would be very familiar with the Argent Crest. I will let Nico describe what they do.
They are essentially a holy order under the guidance of the Radiant Queen that use their divine magics that were gifted by Leah to heal those that seek their aid, cure wounds, heal poisons, diseases. People have come far and wide seeking their help. And they've remained stationed in Viliad. That's kind of where they're headquartered, specifically in the tower that resides in the center of the Gulf. The Elnian Tower, I believe it's called. But they've been commissioned by the Scarlet Swords every now and then to heal the wounds of their mercenaries and such.
Oh yeah. You guys. Wait, your skill set is definitely not that. That doesn't line up. What happened?
Used to be. They again kind of feel their forearms. As noble as the Order's cause is, they are ignorant to the power they possess. This gift that the Radiant Queen has given us can be used for so much more. Why stop at healing people? Why not go out there into the world and eliminate those that would cause the harm in the first place? That philosophy doesn't exactly align with the tenets of the Order.
As it shouldn't.
Suppose not.
It's not
Depends on your point of
really
view, though.
becoming of an individual to flex their power upon the world, let alone use it for this.
I mean, it's not like he's in the middle of a town causing problems.
Not yet. But it sounds like he wants to.
Sound like Zirfael, our leader. I didn't see what I saw. I couldn't stand by while I saw countless people coming in fatally wounded. We couldn't save everyone. Why not tap into this gift we've been granted? Take it a step further. Go out into the world. They viewed this as they viewed me as a corrupted mind, tainted by dark powers. I admit I had to do some research into some darker things, but it was for the right cause.
It always starts off for the right cause. That kind of thinking, though, changes a person.
I'd like to believe that I could not be so corrupted and succumb to that.
We both have to know that that is some pretty blissful fucking ignorance, though.
Now you sound like my sister. You can believe what you will about the path I'm on.
Consider this a friendly reminder, then, that should you become a problem, given the sword's close connections with the crest, I may or may not find your mark in my hands. Or, God forbid, somebody far worse than me.
Let's hope that day doesn't come.
That's up to you.
Perhaps. Or maybe you all won't be so blind to the things that I see.
I've never been one for zealotry. I doubt that will change.
I can respect that.
Did you have to give up seeing everything else to see what you're seeing now?
The Order has an interesting way of dealing with their exiles. Deeping my toes into this darker magic. They said I was blind to the Radiant Queen's wishes. And so they stole my sight. They stole my markings as well. Kind of raising their forearms. You see, when we're inducted into the Order, we are given tattoos, celestial markings that bear a meaning, an emotion, a trait that is true to the person that is gifted by the Queen. Ambition and pride. were once inscribed on my arms. Those were taken as well. I've also been cut off from my divine magic. But luckily, my research has led me to something else. And then again, gesturing towards the echo. That's my story. That's where I'm on.
What's your
I
take,
chose this
Eclipse?
path.
What's your take?
Have I had any interaction with this group at all? Have they ever come in? Have I seen any of them ever?
No. I don't think so. You wouldn't have had much reason to go to Viliad, and most of the time it's people coming there. There will sometimes send emissaries out to other places, but Alea is pretty magically capable, and so is not the kind of place they would necessarily need that. So I would say probably haven't run into them, though if you wanted to be familiar with them, you certainly could be, based off of the information you're privy to. Leave that up to you.
I mean, it looks like he's been through enough, right? He couldn't do the thing he wanted to do before, even if he tried. So what are you supposed to do? I don't agree with it, but I do agree with this guy, though, and I point at Adrian. If you start causing a problem, we're gonna have to solve it at some point. So
This debate could go on and on.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying I don't agree with you, and I'm not gonna fight you on it right now. But if it becomes a problem that's gonna harm any of us in particular, it will then become our problem. So
It's something that I tried to convince the Order. They couldn't understand that what I was doing wasn't evil. They thought my mind corrupted. It's not. I can see more clearly now than ever. And I'm still under the guidance of Leah. But again, I don't want my words to fall on deaf ears. If you have your way of seeing how this looks, then that's just how it is.
I mean, if Lahir thought you really were that much of a problem, I don't think they'd continue giving them your blessing. So that's not my choice in that one either.
Perhaps not.
We've all got our reasons for doing something.
We do. And I feel as though mine are justified.
I'm sorry you went through that. She kind of gestures at the arms and everything.
It's, not what I was hoping for. But to be expected, the ignorance of Zephael and their influence over the rest of the Order. They're fools. That's all I'll say. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Imagine the rest are probably arriving.
Yeah, around that time or a little after. Anything anybody else wants to do for the night?
What's the sleeping situation in our tiny little hut?
I am outside in a tent, so I'll set one up mostly just for watch. If people want to swap on that.
I'll be outside too.
Bless you.
Here you go. I guess I'll be inside. Sleep.
Okay. You're
Are you
muted,
muted?
Megan.
Thanks. They were doing shenanigans. I said I'll enjoy a roof.
Hmm. Okay.
You can sleep on the rock?
Is that an option?
The cover of the roof, I think, is what she
Oh.
meant.
Yes, yeah, I meant like the cover, like being under a roof.
Being under the roof, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were sleeping.
Although Brightwing would totally not know that
Yep,
idiom,
yep.
so
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eclipse doesn't look like she's gonna sleep. She's just staying outside watching.
okay.
I'm not gonna sleep in inside. I'll sleep in a tent outside for sure.
Okay.
It's
Tent set
just
up
me
outside.
in here.
I'll go
Nope.
inside.
No, Faye's in there.
then.
Oh, Faye's in there with you.
Oh,
Faye's
Faye's
in
in,
I'll
Faye's
go
in there.
inside if the two big ones are gonna be outside.
Okay.
Stay here and what? What?
Sassy large ones.
And I assume that Eclipse and Adrian, you're gonna take a watch, first watch.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Well, actually, we'll probably have to stagger it, so we'll just stagger it, I think, since
Yeah.
we're both already out there.
like you
Let's
guys want to
just-
take the 2 watches?
We'll take 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. And everyone else goes to sleep?
Reluctantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Faye
reluctant
fights sleep for a while
Mm.
and has for the last couple of nights.
Okay.
I think Brightwing sleeps very well.
Good for
Okay.
you!
Yeah, yeah. Brightwing's got some sort of like bird snore that definitely does not contribute to
It's like-
Faye's.
Ruffles the feathers.
Yep.
I'll say Yasnip probably stays awake long enough to make sure Ari is asleep.
Okay.
How do you even know? How do you know?
True.
How are you gonna know?
Real.
Nobody's gonna know.
Nobody's
gonna
gonna know.
know.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna-
know.
They're gonna know. Nobody's gonna know.
Ari, are you attempting to just go straight to sleep? No shenanigans?
They would actually, given all of this that has happened, they would probably at some point, it doesn't have to be, a huge scene, but they would go back to their meditation place just to try to finish their meditation on the woman and the source, and maybe hopefully with a renewed sense of like inspiration because of the party being here now as well.
Okay.
But then after that, returning then to sleep.
Got it.
That was the thing that was a half mile away, right?
That's where we were.
Yes. Yep.
While they're gone, I'd like
Mhm.
to copy as much of the map on the wall as I possibly can.
Okay.
Is that
here's what
before
here's what
or
I'll say.
after he left? Because I might still be awake.
Depends on when they left. I wouldn't do it unless they left.
I assume they left when everyone was going to sleep, basically, getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, once everyone was winding down and such.
Yeah. So everyone would be basically like getting in bed, winding down when they're gone. Brian, Yasnip. So you're sketching?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I will ask Nico then to do 2 things. 1, roll a wisdom check for me,
Okay.
and then 2, DM however you would describe what's on your wall to Brian and me so that it is recorded.
Gotcha. Let me
in as much
see, just
detail as you
straight
have.
Wisdom check. It's only going to be a 12.
Mhm. Okay. All right. The rest of your meditation is fine, a little calming, not necessarily revelatory. Certainly you have some things to think on, not only with the arrival of this very thought-worthy group, but then another argument slash conversation about a topic of importance that you've had many times. Kind of rings around a little bit, but eventually you make your way back. And everyone goes to bed. All right. I will ask everyone but Nico to remove their headphones briefly. Ari,
Mhm.
your sleep is a little restless, as it commonly is. And at one point in the night, you find yourself opening your eyes to that similar fogscape. You don't see a figure. You see rock, seems to be mountain, like where your meditation spot is, but a different place, it seems. And you're moving rock, mountain to your left, wetlands off to your right, through this fog. Quietly, silently. You can't even hear your own footsteps. It's like sound is swallowed by the fog. And this goes on for, it's impossible to say in a dreamscape, but it feels like forever. And it's one of those things where we are trying to get somewhere so that you can do something in a dream, and you just don't feel like you're moving. You're not getting anywhere, but you are moving. And the frustration builds into a bit of anger, and it's beginning to roil. And the fog itself begins to move and roil around you. And it becomes more and more intense, this frustration, these emotions, it burning. And then all of a sudden, you see coming towards you out of the fog the impossibly long fingers of a hand, grayed, old, bony, nails horrific, reaches out towards you, and then it all disappears. And that's the last you see of that. Eclipse and Angelin, I will have you roll a perception check. One each.
Yeah, this is pretty par for the course.
17.
10.
Ooh, okay. And who goes first?
Probably Eclipse.
Yeah.
I think she's having trouble sleeping, so.
Yeah. I'd say at the same time, she's gonna pull out the paper that she's had all this time, and she's gonna just stare at it and finally write something on it for the first time in like weeks or however long it's been, but it feels like forever.
Okay.
And it just starts with Luna. And she just kind of writes, If you can get this, please tell me if something's wrong. However you can. Then she just kind of stops at the end of it and tries to think of anything else. And then pulls out another piece of paper from her pocket. And it's the thing that Yasnip gave her to begin with.
Hmm.
And she just draws it very small in the corner. And then just lets it go.
Okay. All right.
Gives it like 5 minutes of just waiting and keeps looking out on her watch.
Nothing comes in 5 minutes.
Did I see anything weird on my watch?
No.
That's it.
Okay. All right. The rest of your watch goes by without issue. You wake up, Adwin.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And she sits back down to do watch again.
Hmm. Okay.
Wait. Oh. Hey. No. You're supposed to be sleeping.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I could tell something's up, but you're not gonna think any better if you stay up.
Fine. She wanders off and goes to try to sleep.
Okay. All right. Adwin, you take your watch.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple times throughout the night that you hear a distant whoo whoo and have a brief moment of thought. But your night also, your watch also, and the night in full passes. Dawn breaks. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think at some point during the watch, he's going to unsheath a sword, look at it for a minute, and then stab it into the ground. He's going to try his best to see what he can do to try and reach out, I think.
Okay.
Not to conjure, just to reach out.
Hmm.
Just to see.
Roll a charisma check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. And you guys have a fire out here, right? I would assume.
I would have gotten one set up, I think, probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess we're going to be doing this today. I will ask everyone but Adwin to remove their headphones.
Amazing. Amazing.
Okay. You plant your sword in the ground and reach out, concentrate. You're not even sure what you're doing exactly or how to do it or what you're reaching for, but you're trying something. And you close your eyes. Try to listen. There's nothing. You close your eyes tighter. Your fists ball up. The concentration, you're straining as hard as you can. This goes on for a few minutes. Nothing. Silence. And then in frustration, you finally open your eyes and your sword, you look into your sword, and you see the fire reflecting in it and your face. You lock eyes with yourself for a second. And then where your eyes are in the sword, you see burning coals suddenly. And then it almost seems to be Lucy's face with the burning coals of her eyes. Just the eyes. And then another face that is not familiar to you. You don't recognize it. And yet, there is something familiar about it. It is strong, deep, wise. Can't really make out if it's masculine, feminine. Could be somewhere in between. But the eyes are just pools of lava and fire and coal that seem impossibly deep, and you're lost in them. And then there's a that ruffles the fire behind you, and the image blurs for a second, and it's just your face again and the firelight.
Think he's going to. He'll pick up the sword again, stare at it for a moment. And yeah, I mean he's lost in his own thoughts, probably. He's gonna sit down and process for a while until he eventually gets back to sleep.
Okay. All right. Dawn breaks. The rest of you who weren't on watch wake up. And that is where we will take our break. For
Oh, wait. All right.
4 minutes and 73 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Granada.
Granada Hills?
No, like
Oh, just the
like I'm pretty sure the country. No.
Granada.
I don't know. Is there a country of Granada?
Yes.
Thank you, minute.
Or I don't. Yeah,
Some kind
I
of state
know there
province,
is a
same place.
place.
Well,
that knows.
Yeah, Granada.
We are geographically literate, so you know.
Hey.
It's America. What do you?
Okay. We will be back in just over 5 minutes, technically. All right, we back. And we pick up in the morning. What would you all like to do?
So where are we going?
I believe we are following the map. Yes?
Wait, which map?
The
Yeah.
map from the cave, no?
Well, we don't
map of-
know fully
yeah.
where that takes us, but
The Aristin Gulf?
if Ari has
Yeah.
a spot where things got weird as he got closer and was encapsulated by fog, maybe that's where we start?
It's funny that you say that. I did have another dream last night. I think we're close. But it's hard to tell. I might have a direction we can journey. Could be dangerous, but I think we all know what we're getting ourselves into.
Well, we'll certainly be talking on the way to develop a bit more of a strategy so as to preserve the group. I think that would be wise.
That is definitely a good idea.
I agree. We don't want to go into this blind.
Mm.
I mean,
Yep.
You know, the longer I hang out with you, the more I'm pretty sure that's not actually the case.
genuinely, we were talking about nefarious actions. That's about the most nefarious thing that you've done since we've started hanging out.
I like him.
So, of course you do, Yasnit. He's kind of your whole deal.
I'm gonna whisper to Faye. That was joke, yes?
Yes. It was a very questionable one, though. like a blind person can make that joke, and that's okay, but one of us could not. Questionably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ari, do you set the group in a direction?
Yes. Thinking back to the dream that I had last night, I'm going to try to align our direction with the orientation that I saw things in.
Okay.
Okay.
Base. You go ahead.
Just
Brightling.
before we head out,
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask if everyone's okay if I grow another flower around their wrists so we could track lightnings.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll go up to Ari. I don't know if you'll be able to sense it, but we use these flowers to track when the lightlings are about. If you would like one on your wrist as well, if you could feel the decay from it.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of trying something like that before. Sure. I'll take one.
It's I don't know flowers as well as Sable does.
A white lotus.
Do it.
Sure. That sounds cool.
Okay. All right. Everybody set up with a White Lotus bracelet. And you guys start heading by Ari'Anu's direction based off what you believe you saw westward with the mountains to your left. Okay. We're going to be entering a skill challenge here. To find something that you guys are looking for, a source. There are going to be consequences to failures. You need 4 successes, and however many failures you rack up over that time will contribute to what kind of penalties you deal with.
What fun! Matt,
Yes.
what
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and you don't know how long this journey will take, but we'll keep up with it as we go. So, who would like to contribute a skill? Yes, Brightwing.
Wonder
Okay.
which one.
Gee
Man.
willikers, who would think?
I will.
Dude, if she
I'm
takes
gonna
anything else, we're
cast.
screwed.
I'm gonna go and see if I can find some of those birds I was hearing the other day, and cast animal friendship.
Okay.
And then hopefully they're my friends.
Well, let me just double check how the spell works. I love that Google knows that as soon as I start typing something, they want that I want to put 5e on the end of it,
Same.
no matter what it is.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Convince
get
a
a
beast that it
raise
means
in
no
5e.
harm. If it's 4 or higher, interesting. Okay, so you're gonna look for a somewhat intelligent-looking animal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then wisdom saving throw. Okay. It is charmed by you. We're gonna say it is.
Doesn't have to be a
Well,
bird. Whatever animal you think would come up first.
Yeah, I am gonna check something real quick.
It's a honey badger, and it don't give a single fuck, and we are Sean.
I don't think a honey badger. I don't think a honey badger could mean no harm to anybody, no matter
How long does it
how
last?
charmed it is.
This beast lasts 24 hours. Whoa,
Okay.
that's crazy.
I'm gonna say that at some point, you guys are kind of walking, or you at least as you start, you're walking sort of on the fringe where the wetlands begin to fade into the rock of the mountains. And so you have some wetlands on your right, you have mountains above you to your left, and then the ground kind of mixes and winds between more marshy, more rocky. It's a little back and forth. A little bit into the first few hours, Brightwing, you see a small falcon in the rocks, or up to your left where the mountain is, kind of like from rock to rock, sort of looking down at you all. And you make your way over to it, cast a spell. Well, once you're within 30 feet. It dives down very fast, lands on your wrist. Not the least painful thing you've experienced, because its talons are sharp and it doesn't really know any better.
It's fine. And then I'll just pet it while I ritually cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
And she just has a falcon for 10 minutes on her arm.
Yep.
Swirl.
Okay. Spell completes.
Excuse me, I was wondering if, from your height, if you have seen any unusual activity in the forest somewhere.
Depends what you mean by unusual activity.
Well, have you seen, like, death creatures, or absence of life?
Well, the hunting's not very good. The further west you go, I know that. And I saw some big black wolves the other day.
Yeah, I did too.
They
But don't
didn't seem
worry
very
about them.
nice. Okay. Well, I wasn't too scared. I can fly. And they can't, so.
Is there any specific towards west you've been avoiding?
Well, I don't go too far that way. Things get a little foggy after a ways.
When does the fog start? Do you know?
Maybe like a day's flight?
This. Okay. Is there anything else you would? We are heading that direction.
Well, do you like fog?
I'm alright with it, but I suspect this fog might have a bit more nefariousness with it.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds scary.
I think that's the importance that it's supposed to get.
Okay, cool. Good luck.
Well, thank you. Good luck to you. I hope you find better hunting.
Flies up. All right. Roll.
After all that, how is she gonna fail? Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I'm going to say you still have to roll, but I'm going to say roll an animal handling check with advantage. And the DC is much lower than it might be on other checks.
That's not as bad. 16.
That's a success.
Okay, cool.
Okay. That's one success. I assume you relay that all to the group.
Yes. And for Ari'Anu, she's not talking in common. She's talking in a different tongue that I don't know if you would ever heard before.
No, probably not.
When she's speaking to the Falcon. They say to continue west, but there will be fog in about a day's flight. So I don't know how far that is for the Falcon, but they say
Good to know.
absence of lice west.
As one would expect.
Okay. One success. Who wants to contribute next?
I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
Cool.
We're here for that.
All right. If we are during our travel, we I don't know, take like a 5-minute break, just drink water or whatever. I think I will go to a little secluded like tree if we're still in like a tree-ish area. To do like a quick prayer. I'm aiming for a religion check here. I am going to attempt to just say a prayer to hopefully gain the attention of Leah, to hopefully keep us on the right path, I suppose. But I will say, let me scroll up to my prayer that I have. I'll say, although the path that I am on is, in some people's eyes, away from your light, your domain, your radiance still guides my heart and mind. May your heavens give me strength. May your skies give me freedom. And may your radiance inspire hope. And I will just try to reach out to her.
Okay. Roll a religion check.
18.
That's another success. Okay. You say this prayer, and I would say open your eyes, but that's not really how it works. Return to the group, and you just see in your mind's eye clear skies that suddenly turn clouded. And then it fades. But it's a success. We'll do one more check on this first day. Not all at once now.
Are there any nature
Look.
pockets that I could pick, Matthew?
I don't do the nature. Could I intimidate the nature?
That's
and just
pretty
telling us
true.
where it goes?
You really
yeah,
don't.
so yeah, that's the problem. All
What?
of my proficiencies are in the wrong skills for this.
This landscape that we're on, what is the landscape like now?
So it's kind of mixed a little bit, and there are times like you're kind of trying to stay. It's a little. There's not a clear end line of wetlands to mountain. So there are times when the wetlands will be a little bit more like creep a little bit more forward, and then times where the rock of the mountains will sort of spread out a little further. And so you're sort of like following this bit of wind between the two, and they'll cross over each other at various points. So sometimes you're walking through marsh, sometimes you're walking under tree cover, sometimes it's more rock outcropping, like with mountain and open sky.
Can I try to hop, skip, jump ahead to try to find the path of least resistance?
Okay. Yeah, I will say roll a survival check.
Damn it all.
Hmm.
It's easy to tell what it is. Because it's a +0!
But
10.
after all,
10.
10.
That's a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The evening wraps on this first day. We don't need to go through full watches and everything, but is there anything you guys want to do or say on this evening?
There is a brief conversation I want to have with Eowyn.
Okay. Fire is made probably in a little alcove of rock that seems somewhat sheltered for the night. You can pull them aside if you want.
It wouldn't have to be pulled aside. It could be when
Okay.
we're
Sure.
all sharing a meal or whatever. But I think I would sit across from Eowyn, and kind of taking in their armaments, their sword and shield, and just say, Eowyn, the work you've done for the Scarlet Swords, is that something you've always done?
Define always.
I guess a better question for me would be, well, for you, how many battles has your sword seen without the influence of gold? There is great honor in the desire to protect people, but honor will decay and rot if left to the vices of greed.
Interesting. Well, it depends on the job. Some of the jobs are for the money, because sometimes you do what you have to survive. But the others I do because there are people in this world that need to be protected from other people, from the creatures that lurk these lands. So I do it for them.
I can respect that. Then I just ask, how are we any different? How am I any different from you then? You are using your means, your abilities to help those, protect those that need it. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Because you are your own judge, jury, and executioner. That's a responsibility that should not be your own. Sometimes we are not the best judge of our own actions.
Perhaps not. I haven't been wrong yet, though.
You say this now, but you have been faced with many an individual who believe you to be incorrect. And the only thing consistent between them is you.
This means I need to prove them wrong. And it'll make it all the better in the end.
Or it means you need to listen.
Grew tired of listening to their sermons. Preaching about how we're saving the world. Doing so much. Just sitting there. We weren't doing anything. No. I'm tired of listening. Action is what's required.
Then I guess all the lives that your group is responsible for saving are far more insignificant.
Not
They're
insignificant.
not important. That's doing nothing, according to you.
Doing nothing when you have the perspective of how much more we could be doing.
Everyone has their place in the world. And luckily, they have found theirs. And there would be a lot more blood spilled had it not been for them. They are doing incredible work. Your failure to recognize that, that's on you, not them.
I think you're misunderstanding. I do support what they're doing. What I don't support is their inaction to stop these terrible things from happening to begin with.
Because, to reiterate, they've found their place. Just as I found mine. That doesn't make them wrong.
No. Suppose not.
Like I said, sometimes it's just best to listen. You don't have to challenge other people's beliefs like this.
Sometimes it's best to see for yourself what's really out there. The things that should be fought.
Then don't let their perspective get in the way. You're so focused on what they thought about the world. Take a moment to reconsider that maybe they're still right. It just wasn't for you.
what they think of all of this.
A plan too, actually. Someone's got to keep a close eye on you, right?
They just lean back.
Okay.
I heard all that, right?
This is a conversation we're having openly over the
Yeah,
Yeah, I
phone.
was about to say. I was like,
Everybody
okay.
everybody just experiences this as it happens, yeah.
I think also Bryony is contemplating whether or not to take out her dagger to get her teapot out because
Uh-huh.
she was told not to show it to strangers, but the strangers can't see, so it's an inner battle side thing. But I would say maybe just before we went down to sleep to take watches, I would try and sit next to Ari for a sec. Offer tea, because she did do it.
Thank you.
I don't think everyone has a place in the world. I think we have multiple places. If we're always doing the same thing, nothing ever changes. You don't grow.
I suppose.
I don't know what you were talking about or what you were a part of before, but I could tell the tension from it.
The tension I'm used to. Just know that I'm, as Aedwin put it, on a separate path from that of my old order. We have similar goals. We want to help people. The order just didn't agree with the way I wanted to do it. So I was cast aside.
And that's why you're alone.
That's why I'm alone. Yes. There weren't many that would, follow me. In the order. I thought I spoke true. That I would inspire those to follow me. But, a shepherd with no flock is just a fool with a stick. So, perhaps that's just what I am.
Well, I am a fool with a stick sometimes. Sure. Sometimes we need to be foolish in order to know right from wrong.
I choose to believe that I'm right. Hopefully that's enough.
And maybe it is. But do you know what will happen if you're wrong? She just says that as a genuine question.
Well, if I'm wrong, and lost in utter darkness, still the only path is forward. Just move on. But I'm not too worried about being wrong. And they kind of gesture down to their right arm where the word pride used to be inscribed on.
Do you say that it used to be? She doesn't know what pride was written on there.
No, the only ones who would know
Okay.
are Eclipse and Edwin. Unless you know Celestial, because it's written in Celestial.
I do not.
Okay.
walking in darkness. You get lost sometimes.
True, but the darker the night, the brighter the stars. It's easy to follow the light, but also to get distracted. That's why I followed the brightest light. That's the one within. You don't need the stars or something else to guide you. You just need yourself, your convictions, your beliefs, goals.
I see what you mean. So, to believe in oneself means you are often by yourself.
Sometimes.
It is love that guides me more. I hope you have that.
You'll find it. It is nice to be among people, though. Again.
I agree.
A love is a good thing to follow. Keep that. Hold on to it.
And I do not speak for others, but I don't think Edwin is fully found where his place is. As much as he thinks there is stuff he does not know. Though we all don't know, but as I said, there are multiple places in this world.
Maybe you should put him on the guidance of love.
I don't know if I would be the person to put that forward. He doesn't like me very much, but that is alright. There are many people who do not like me, so to speak. It is not uncommon.
I think you're all right.
I think you're alright too.
Then perhaps we can see this through to the end. Cleanse this swamp, finally.
The Wilds asked me to do that. I don't know what they see in my abilities to do so, but I promise I'd try. So I will.
A lot of responsibility. It will require all of our strength, combined efforts to not disappoint the Wilds or the Radiant Queen. I think some rest is in order.
Would you allow me a quick question before we rest?
Sure.
Your Radiant Queen.
Mm-hmm.
She is of the heavens and sky, yes?
That's correct.
Have you been to the sky, or do you worship from ground?
There was a time when I could soar through the skies, yes. But I've fallen to the ground, if you will.
You could fly?
In a way, yes. The freedom of the skies is something I do miss.
I don't know the pleasure from it. I'm afraid.
Words wouldn't do it justice, but maybe you can dream of it.
I have. But I wake up and I still have broken wings. So
Hopefully you'll dream of them tonight, and that will give us the inspiration we need to make it through the rest of our journey.
perhaps. Enjoy your tea.
Thank you.
I'm gonna lean towards Eclipse and Faye. Either of you following anything they're saying?
Yep.
Eclipse.
Yeah.
Fancy a rematch? Talks of fool have enticed me a bit.
Yeah. Why not?
Gonna find the nearest log, stone, whatever it is, prop my
Yep.
elbow up on it.
Yep.
Let's fucking go!
Both of you roll.
Alright.
Faye,
All right,
you mind
tiny dice.
officiating? You mind officiating?
You're muted.
I've been muted most of this session.
No!
True.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
When her paw hits that side of the log, just let us know.
Wow.
I believe in you, and I'll give Yasnip inspiration.
Hell yeah!
Oh shoot!
I'm taking a picture so,
D8.
so that a certain someone in chat can realize that this is stupid. Give me a moment.
Oh boy.
Athletics, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Give me one sec. Alright. Okay, what did you roll?
Natural one.
Oh! My
That's
god!
crazy, because so did I.
What do you mean?
Y'all just break each other's
this
wrists.
this is
Well, I
very
get my inspiration
this
back.
is very interesting though. Okay? And I'm gonna say it first.
Uh-huh.
I rolled
Oh
a
my-
7 on the inspiration die, which gives me
Wow.
Okay.
Total?
8 total because I have a +0.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I also have an 8 total.
Oh my god! Yes! Incredible!
Alright, so I'll sit there and I'll be like, when
Are you
when
going?
to start,
I'm-
when are you going to
I
start trying?
am. She's very
You
strong.
begin to see the veins on.
Like there
Yasmin's
is
head.
no movement.
No.
Look, Eclipse
Alright.
hasn't even moved yet. She's just kind of holding it there.
You guys have to roll again.
Oh fuck.
Oh my
Do I do it again?
It can't be as bad as that.
18.
Oh,
Wow.
That one is a natural 20.
Wow.
There
get
it is.
wrecked.
on the good metal
Yeah.
dice.
Yeah.
Metal dust.
Okay.
Middle
So
day.
after like a good 45 seconds of just right in the middle, Eclipse just pulls another gear and just starts slowly
No.
forcing Yasmin
No.
down.
You told me when
Till it
her
touches.
paw hits, but what
Yes,
about
yes,
when
yeah,
yours?
I did it last time, okay? It happened once.
Uh-huh.
Do we have to roll again, or is that the
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's
touch into
slow.
the log.
It's gradual.
And
This
right when
goes.
you do, there's a small fluttering sound in your lap,
Oh,
Eclipse.
Oh shit!
Oh.
I pick it up.
And open it.
Yep.
All right. It's a small piece of parchment. And it says, "Hey sis, hope your mission's going well, or at least that it's more exciting than it is here. Pretty much same old, although Dad does seem a bit preoccupied. which isn't that unusual for him, but I don't know, he seems a little worried. Has told us not to worry like 58 times, though, so keep us posted. Signed, Luna.
Okay. Alright. And that sounds normal. That's her.
Yeah, it very
Nothing
much sounds
feels
like
off
her.
with that. Sweet.
No.
Okay.
Dang it, wasn't in code.
Good.
Yasnip, you and I should have a go. Come on.
I'll scoot out of the way so she can take my spot and just
Yep.
read it while they're doing that.
Yep.
At this point, I think I'm walking over just to like
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
just to watch. I'm
Ari's
just like
observing.
Okay.
Don't worry, Edwin, you're next.
right.
You take
Yeah.
winner.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
You two roll.
Just strength,
Athletics.
athletics.
Yeah, I'm not getting in on this.
And I'm gonna say, Yasnif, you have a -1 from having just.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You sprained your wrist.
It doesn't
I
help
gotta-
much.
I got a 17.
I got a 10.
Oh shoot!
Wow.
Okay, this battle is quicker, not immediate, but quicker. And Yasnif, you find yourself losing again. This time to Faye.
The spindly little
Yep.
that band kid.
I'll start taking off
I
my
accept
gauntlet,
defeat.
Oh shoot!
and I go ahead and just put the arm down a little too hard, so the wood kind of just caves a bit.
Oh, shit.
Uh-huh.
And who are you? Zia
You've got
Yasa?
one chance here, by the way, to
Brightwing, if he breaks my arm, you'll fix it, right?
No, that's fair.
Yes.
Okay.
To do or
Roll.
not to do. Am I
Alright.
am I an asshole? Am I about to cast Hex on
Oh?
Edwin? Am I
Oh!
about to cast Hex on Edwin?
Oh!
I want to beat him in his own right.
Yeah, hold it. I'm thinking it.
Okay. All right.
okay.
Yeah, hang on.
Uh-huh.
I think that was probably the best nat one I have rolled, just for the sake of circumstance.
That was
pretty
really
good.
funny.
That was pretty good. The same freaking number, even with inspiration. That's
Yeah, that was
wild.
wild. That was
That's
wild.
insane.
That's fitting.
Oh,
Dude, I
they
can't.
rolled something.
There it is.
Oh
There it
my
is.
gosh, what is happening?
No way.
What'd you get?
It's a
A
natural
one.
one.
I got a 2 total. Does he break my arm?
No. So Edwin is going to get it right like centimeters away from hitting that log. But he's gonna let her win.
Okay. What'd you roll? Just out of curiosity.
I rolled a dirty 20.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I would
Okay.
know.
Here's
Insight
what I'll,
check.
yeah. Roll a deception
Yeah.
check, and yeah, Faye, roll an insight check.
Can I with my passive see this?
Yeah, you're gonna be able to tell no matter what. Well, we'll see what he rolls, but
It's another dirty 20.
okay. That actually beats your passive
Yeah,
insight.
My passive 19.
I only got a 16.
Okay.
There you go.
It's
That's sus. That's still sus.
it's
Yeah.
pretty
Still
sus.
Like,
suspicious
I
as
feel
hell,
like
yeah.
even without a
Yeah. It's basically you can't tell for sure that he just let you in, but you really don't see how it happened. And you have your suspicions.
You know, it's not actually about the upper arm strength.
it's,
It's
the,
about
it's the like the pulley, right? Like
Yeah,
the
So
exactly.
turn.
just on
Correct.
record,
Yep.
you are admitting that she has better technique than you do,
Oh,
right?
I've got no doubt she's more technical.
Mm.
I mean, look at her. All the shit that goes on inside that fucking brain of hers.
It's really not that much. I feel like you're.
There's a thought behind it. Isn't it?
This circus
It's just
music on
elevator
loop.
music. Do 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 do.
Is that the
Like-
Zoo
Alright.
Tycoon music?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wow, what a pull.
Oh no, the DMCA is kicking in, guys. We're too careful. It's too close.
I know.
Too exact.
Are there any other challengers before I end the night?
I'm gonna. Faye, can I ask you a favor real quick?
Mhm.
You mentioned before about messaging people.
Yeah, that's
How,
totally
did it, how
that's
does
a
that
thing.
work?
You know, I've done it a couple times to family, but I know them fairly well. Um, I think if you give me like a pretty good description of the person and their name, um, it can get damn near anywhere
Okay.
in the planes of existence with, a small percentage of reliable doubt. 25 words. So if you want to write it down,
Okay.
they respond in my head though, so I'd have to, you know, tell you back.
Okay. All right. Have you ever been to Alea? Have you ever been to the Lycian Consortium at all?
Matthew.
Okay. Technically, I would leave it up to you, but my guess would be no. It's a little far south and not a bustling metropolis type city so much. It's more of an academic place.
Yeah, I would say I probably have been to Purasir for trade trips
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and like coastal cities.
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry, I haven't. I've seen it on a map, and I've seen artistic interpretations of it
Okay.
in books.
Man, how did she looks really confused trying to figure out how to describe him.
What's his name?
His name is Hugo.
Hugo. Okay.
Hugo Fornoir.
Fornoir.
He is I do you need a description? I guess he's a little shorter than me.
Mhm.
Kind of stockier, same kind of build. Um,
He has some gray around his muzzle.
yeah, he's getting up there.
Could I be doing like a police sketch of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to fix it in my mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as she's sketching it, just kind of like, yeah, and then, the eyes are a little softer because and the brow's a little more furrowed because he's very serious all the time. And she looks like she's reminiscing more than anything, and it's really sad to watch. um, yeah, and if you could, and she pulls out a different piece of paper and in surprisingly very nice calligraphy.
That tracks.
I guess I should count this out. So she's kind of like, okay. And then once she sees that, she kind of busies herself. And I'm going to try to write something up real quick that you can send.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to do something in the meantime.
Anybody else got anything else they want to do tonight? Arm wrestling has been had. Deep philosophical debates.
I got nothing.
All right. I'll take us through to the next morning while you write, Jess, and then we can retcon what happened, basically. So you guys do find rest. No issues in the night. Start your second day. And while Jess finishes that, someone else can come up with a check for the skill challenge.
You gotta pick the spells.
Matt, could I be looking? I got it, but could I be looking for the thing that I had been looking for the last time, like actively seeking that out in like hollows and things like that?
Okay. Roll an investigation check. Eclipse, do you have your message?
That's a natural 20 for a 28.
Wow!
Does that count as 2 successes? Because I think it does.
No, not in this thing.
Successes don't crit, Sean.
I mean, no. Skill checks, it does, but not in this situation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is 3 though. You have your message, Eclipse?
Yeah, it's in the Aanthara discussion.
Okay.
So I'm trying to
Is
leave
that
her
20
enough words. Is it? I'm trying to leave you enough to introduce yourself. So if it's too many, I can chop it down.
8, 9, 10.
15.
Okay.
So you got 10 words to introduce yourself if needed.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope that's not too many. I know you don't have a lot.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
I'll kind of just sit down and it looks like I'm like I don't have my lute in my hands, but it kind of looks like I'm playing the lute. And if typewriters were a thing, that's probably what it would look like. But that's kind of the vibe of like as I like kind of am strumming out like what I imagine the words would be like in my head as I send the message off. Um, does anyone else hear this?
Your words?
Yeah.
I believe yes that you speak them out
speak
loud.
words out loud, yeah.
I can double check real quick. You send a short message, creature hears it in his mind.
But it doesn't say whether or not you
It doesn't
speak aloud.
actually say that. Interesting.
I think that's the difference between sending a message. Because I think message you have to say out loud.
Message is
Message you
discreet.
have to whisper,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
The message can only be heard by the person talking and the recipient.
Oh.
Wow. What a ruling I have to make here on the spot. Does sending require you to speak? And could this later become a thing? Let me just do a quick search just to see.
Jeremy Crawford, help.
Yeah.
Right? Literally.
Yeah, I
Because
thought it was audible because when people would get messages back, it was
The
kinda...
exact wording of the spell doesn't really clarify, but
no.
okay, so message specifically says that you whisper a message, whereas sending does not. And
So
Mm-mm-mm.
I guess the deliberation would be, because the term message is capitalized, is it sending a whispered message as it is sent in the spell message?
Okay, so here's another thing, another point of note. It does have verbal components.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that they are the speaking of the spell, more or less. So yes,
Okay.
you speak out loud.
All right. So I will say, my name is Faye Rosewood. I'm a companion of Eclipse. Just checking in. Last message seemed off. Should she stop what she's doing? What's wrong?
Okay. You wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. No reply. And then for about 30, 45 seconds, you hear. All due respect. Not really willing to speak across magical channels that I don't know are secure to someone I don't know. Eclipse will understand if you're her friend. That's it.
He doesn't trust me.
Yeah, I didn't really think you would.
It's worth a shot.
How did
It's
he
also...
sound? Do you get to hear that at all?
Yeah, I hear his voice. He's very stoic, but that seems kind of straight compared to your description, but he sounded tired. Like, just not sleepy, but worn almost, like he was carrying a weight.
Right. I tried to ask my sister if she knew anything, because I figured if everybody was in trouble, she would have figured out some way to tell me. She's her usual self, so whatever's going on, it's just with him. Thanks, though. I'm sorry. That probably wasn't the best reply back. I hope it
I'm not
wasn't mean or
offended.
anything.
I don't know. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I mean, I've never tried that before. So I'd probably think it was weird too, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
figured though if it's place of magical education of sort that he would be familiar with the magic of it, but he said he said it could be insecure or unsecured. Which is odd because I don't know that of any magical way to listen in on that spell specifically. But I've also just recently acquired the use of it, so
She looks down at the scroll she's been tearing up slightly throughout like the entire thing.
Hmm.
Has he always given me that anytime I've gone anywhere? Or is this like the first time I've actually had this?
No, you've typically gotten one of those, especially if it's going to be a long distance.
Okay. That would explain this. And she kind of holds up the little. There's like a corner of a book page left, pretty much. It's very small at this point. Because these are supposed to go to a specific person that I can think of. Probably in the same way that your spell can. But these happen in the same way that what you just saw. And she holds up the bit that's still there because she hasn't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like using it when it's not really an emergency, but we've only got, if I've got the math right and I've torn it properly, 2. So, and they don't really cost me anything aside from once it's done, it's done. I'd have to go home to get another one. So,
I mean, it anything magical is expensive, but if they're willing to give you something like that for free, then it might be worth the trip.
yeah. I mean, it's also good because if you get too tired and can't do that again, we can call for help. It's really kind of the other reason I've been holding on to it. It helped before. We used it with the kids. I don't know what we would have done if that didn't work.
I mean, I can reach anyone, but I understand what you're saying. If it was the end of a day or something, and I didn't have the ability to do that, that does take kind of my top-notch.
Yeah, it sounds like it
ability
takes a lot.
A little bit. It's all right.
Okay. Well, I don't want to say I feel better about it, but I feel it doesn't sound as weird. It sounds like he's keeping it to himself.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong. It just means that you just want to discuss it with a stranger, which I get it. Maybe one day we'll get back there and I'll be able to meet him face to face and build some rapport, and he would trust me in that way to relay messages to you.
Yeah, I think it's just more papers. Just he's very traditional, so
that's all right.
I don't blame him. He knows a lot more about that than I do. So if he's paranoid, he's got his reasons.
My dad is equally paranoid.
Dad's right.
Part of how he stayed in business for so long, so it's all right. We love him anyway.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Somehow, someway.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I feel like we're all just faking it, and that it only looks like the grown-ups know what they're doing.
Okay. Back to the day ahead.
Yep.
And Faye's skill check.
My nat 20 for a 28.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You find over the course of the next half a day 2. One more on the wetland side in a tree, and one more on the mountain side in a rock crevice.
Does it seem like the frequency is increasing?
Well, you didn't find any when you were back near Ari'Anu's place.
I know, but they like. I guess I just am not sure like where we are in the
Triangulating everything.
Yeah, I guess I would like to see if compared to where we were the first time. But then later on, it was closer to Raygrove, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
There's not with your especially with your Hive and investigation check, there's not a particular density that or triangulation in that way that makes any particular sense. It just seems like they're scattered.
Can I turn it around and wait a little bit and see what
Like
happens?
you pop it and turn it and put it in facing the other direction. Okay.
Does
Yeah.
it like magic
No,
8 ball back?
it does not.
Hmm. I wouldn't keep it a secret what I'm doing. That's. I mean, I think you guys have kind of figured it out. 2 more of those eyeball spheres.
Tossing
mean-
or breaking?
I don't think it really matters which.
And there were 2 of them.
So far, yeah. In a day.
It means
Are
we're
they-
getting close.
If we just set them so they just look at each other, maybe whoever does.
They were not in the same place.
They're
It
not
was
in the
like
same
one and then a couple
location.
hours later. Yes,
Yeah.
unless you
Oh,
brought
okay.
one with you.
I have a really dumb question about those. Whenever we've found them, are they looking at us or are they looking at a spot on the ground?
You don't see them moving.
Okay.
You've never seen them moving. They just seem to be directed towards an area,
Okay.
typically.
So for the tying into this, perhaps could I don't want to take 2 checks, but could I try to like spot them earlier on, like maybe scout ahead a little bit, spot them earlier on, and lead the group around where I think the line of sight for them is, and not move them?
Ooh, wee.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm gonna say. The way that they're placed seems to be, from the ones you found, meant to be pretty hidden.
Right.
And it's not something that you just necessarily see passing by, except that one, first one you saw in the
tree.
hand in the tree, yeah, which was very out in the open. So I'm gonna say no, because to get up to where you have found these other ones, it's meant like getting
Yeah.
close to places and looking places, so they would just see you. But it does give you a sense that whatever is happening with these eyes may still be happening, and it's happening in the direction you're going and not so much in the direction you came from. And it is a success. So who would like to take the next one? There is one more success needed. You only have 1 failure so far. Yes, it is you.
Sean, what are we doing?
Look, here's the
I'm
thing.
about to climb a goddamn tree, bro.
None of my skills are high enough. I'm just gonna sit
Just
here
go
and
with
let
it.
everybody else take the wheel.
All right. Executive decision of stupid.
Let's take the wheel.
All right. We
just-
are tracking Blight still, right? So that's
You
the
have certainly
vibe.
keeping your eye out for it, yes.
Okay. Okay, we've already done the eye thing, which was probably the next thing I was gonna even consider. And we found 2. Going in the same direction we've been walking, or were they off the path? Or did Faye make any mention of that?
Yeah, she pointed out when you came across them, and they were somewhat within the vicinity of the way you were going, which is how she came to notice them.
Okay.
Or find them.
How dense is the forest we're in? It's not really a forest, right? This is just along like an almost mountainside.
Yeah, it varies. So sometimes the wetlands will get thicker, and the other times it'll be very sparse, and you're like barely even walking amongst trees.
Okay. Okay, we already did survival. We can't like double up on stuff, right? Or else
Oh,
the
No.
DC
failed
gets higher.
survival.
You did fail survival. You can use it again, but the DC might go up.
Okay. Um. And I have the map, but it looks more like the map that we just have of the world. It's not like a detailed right here where we are kind of thing, right?
Right. You're talking about
Okay.
what you found in the cave, the drawing?
No, the one that I have, just the map that I have
Oh
on
yeah,
hand.
your map
That's
is a
just
map
the
of the whole
world.
world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not detailed enough to like
At all.
identify. No.
Okay. Um.
Can I give her the one that I did?
The hand drawn map.
Yeah. Are we still within
Which
the confines of the map that was on Ari's wall?
what was on Ari's wall?
Is it more
Let me
like an
double check
artistic,
to make sure.
artistic
Yeah.
interpretation?
Yeah, because I think somebody redrew the one that was on the wall. I think it was Brightwing. It was you. Okay.
That's Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not so much a map, it's more of an artistic depiction.
So
Put
the
it in my
one,
pocket.
yeah, the one far back in the cave. Just based on sense of direction and the fact that I have traveled by myself a lot.
Hmm.
It's probably gonna end up being a survival. Can I track where there's more moisture on the mountain by comparison? Finding moss specifically, finding things where it would be kind of more wet. Like, even though we're on the top of the mountain, just if there was like a small cave somewhere where there's like a pocket of moisture anywhere. Just like kind of finding those kind of places around the area and seeing if it's like a deep hole, if it's just a critter cave, whatever the hell it is, just finding those kind of places along the way.
Okay. Roll a nature check.
Okay. Alright. Wait a minute. It's a 7. Yep.
That's a failure.
It's 7. Yeah, it's real bad.
Okay. Okay, that means I need another one, Edwin.
Yeah.
I tried.
No, it's fine.
You, Eclipse, I would say, things are scattered, and you can't find a pattern. You find areas where things are mossy, but you can't find a pattern that makes any sense to you.
So what skills have we used so far?
Animal handling,
Hmm.
investigation,
Mhm.
religion,
Mhm.
nature,
And survival?
and
Failed
survival.
survival,
Yep. Failed survival. And failed nature. This is the point of
We're
skill
trying to
challenges.
survive
It's meant
in
to be a
nature.
challenge.
And the two things that we have failed is survival and nature.
Yep.
Mhm. Yep. It's real rough out here.
Mm.
My nature's a 0.
I think I'm just generally going to be keeping an eye out, right? I mean, I'm going to be covering our flanks. I'm going to be keeping our eyes up ahead, making sure, nothing bad befalls us as we
Okay.
continue to travel. That's pretty much all I
Okay.
could fucking provide because everyone failed.
Roll a
the things
perception
that I
check.
was going to do. So,
Yep.
hold on. Let me go get...
Hoda.
Are you getting a different dice?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
getting one of the special ones, yeah.
Oh.
One of the very special ones.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's a natural 19
Why don't you use
Okay.
those all the time?
plus 4, which is a
Because
23.
if you use them too much, they lose the magic.
Because
Okay.
it's
It's
the
not
opalite
true. Well,
one.
this one rolled a 1.
It's gemstone. I don't want to break it.
Okay.
Feel it.
That's a success. You be towards the end of the second day. Edwin, you begin to, with your keeping an eye out, notice an increase in blight. It seems you find trails that seem to be forking out from the direction you're headed. And you begin to pick up more and more of them. Like if you dropped a pile of spaghetti and a bunch of them were flung outwards, and then they all start working their way back towards the center of the pile.
What an analogy.
Yeah,
I know, right? It's
that's,
really good.
that's what we're going with.
Animated spaghetti.
Yes, animated spaghetti. And as you continue moving and finding more of these trails converging and beginning to follow them, it slowly, noticeably, but not in an instant, but noticeably, grows much cloudier, gray. And then over another hour or two, and drawing close to what would be late afternoon, a fog begins to slowly move around your feet. And as you continue heading in that direction, the direction you're going, it becomes more dense. And it's cold. Colder than it should be. And this fog, as it begins to grow and become denser, it becomes deeper and is thick, almost unsettlingly thick, to the point where, as it's moving around your knees, you lose sight of your feet sometimes, and you begin to walk more carefully. Yes, Brightwing.
Can I cast Druidcraft but do predict weather to see if this is what the weather's supposed to be? Or if this is more of a magical effect?
Interesting. Sure. You see a small localized version of what you see around you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's here naturally, but it does seem to mean that it is the weather that is occurring in this place right now, if
Okay.
that makes sense. And as you, if you're, yeah, sorry, you're muted, yeah.
I realized it. Taking a note from that, could I cast light and see if it does that thing with like headlights in the fog, or if it burns any of it away? Or I guess perhaps even prestidigitation to light like a small flame in my hand.
Um, yeah, it seems to react the way that fog typically does. It doesn't flee from your hand or anything like that. The light refracts through it like you typically would see in fog. And you do begin to notice that the greenery that you had seen in the wetlands, the border of the wetlands that you'd been walking, begins to fade. Slow over time, but eventually it's mostly grays. And even where it's not rock, where it is wetland, it's grays. And the lifelessness of the area begins to grow more heavy. The silence, that eerie silence that you had heard previously, it seems to be back. You don't hear the sounds of critters. And the silence almost buzzes. It's so oppressive.
How do the flowers look on our wrist?
About half an hour, 45 minutes into this fog, you, Brightwing, would notice at first, see the flowers slowly wilting. The rest of you would see it also.
It's not fast. It's It's a
No,
steady, gradual.
it's not immediate, which is you've seen before. That like sudden dissolving into dust. It's a like a slowly, like a time lapse almost of a flower dying.
And everything looks like it's dying like that, or everything's already dead like that, and it's
No, it's just everything is gray and yeah, dead. It seems
Is
it's not actively changing as far as you can see.
this a lingering effect?
I mean, that's what it was before.
But only when they were around.
Not really. Yeah.
A few minutes after that, after the flowers begin to fade, and over those few minutes they fade essentially to brown and wilted. The odd shifts and shadows of the fog set you on edge, and that silence that almost buzzes in your ears, it's so heavy and oppressive, doesn't make you feel any better. And the cold of the fog has your skin kind of breaking out in goosebumps. But the smell begins to overpower all of those senses. The wetlands in general have not been kind on the nose, to put it kindly, but that stench was mostly like that of nature and life, if of a less flowery sort, the swamp kind of smell. Now you begin to be washed with this aroma of death. Rotten, old, musted. Like 1,000 corpses had been ground into dust to fertilize this landscape. With a very ineffective fertilization given how barren it is. And the fog is growing a little bit heavier up to your waists. And then you break around the bend of an outcropping of rock with wetlands pretty much up to where you are, so they're close. Or what would have been wetlands, but they're not green. And a gust of that rotten wind, just almost vomit inducing, maybe vomit inducing for certain members of the party, blows across the fog. And you see a small gap ahead. And it reveals if what you've been walking through in past was dead, this is something beyond that. Darker. You see a large clearing of rock and dirt, enveloped within a small crescent of cliffs from the mountain, and dotted with sickly green pools of a bubbling, viscous liquid. Not sure exactly what. Some bordered with patches of sludgy mud, and several large, horrifically twisted, darkened, leafless trees, seemingly devoid of life entirely and only standing as a memory or mockery of nature. You're not sure. And in the back wall of this rocky crescent beyond the pools, you see a wide, dark cave opening. Maybe 25 feet wide, 15 feet tall. What do you do?
I think first Brightwing just walks a little ahead of the group and just falls on her knees and is just overwhelmed by the absolute horrid of absolute mockery of life that's in front of her. And it's just completely and utterly, I think, just shocked and it is in shock. And I feel like maybe just like a slight tear of like, just absolutely like, how can this happen? Why? Kind of a thing, but more silent to herself as she just tries to take this in and tries to understand.
think Ari will just place a hand on her shoulder and say, "Seems Siriana has been expelled from this place. What dark corruption is at work here?"
I'll
I
walk
guess
up
we're-
on the other side
Yeah.
and kind of kneel down, like take a knee next to her and kind of wipe her tear. You promised the wilds to fix this. We'll do it together.
There's no life here.
Edwin will walk up next to the rest of the group. There is life here. There's us. And once we leave, we won't be the only thing living. Because we're going to restore this place.
The green that's all in the puddles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? It's hard to. I don't know if she'd even know.
How far away is it?
Yeah.
You guys are at sort of an outcropping that is maybe 120 to 200 feet from where this clearing like becomes most evident and where the pools start, and then the cave opening is another 100 feet or so beyond that.
To get close, should we give it a poke? Pop mage
I
hand out.
mean,
Hmm.
got a rock or something?
Something less silent. I'll start sneaking up towards one of the pools with mage hand.
Okay, with mage hand out.
I'm going as stealthily as I can muster.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
Stop moving.
19.
Okay. And you want to get within range, within your mage hand being in range?
Yeah, I want to get so that I could see, is it viscous? Is it weird? Does something happen when it's touched? But I'm trying to be quiet about it. I don't want to just like chuck a rock into it.
Okay.
But I want to get close enough to one, which is 30 feet, and
Yep.
then just dip in with mage hand and see like if I pull it up, does it drip? Does it gloop? Does it
Okay.
scream bloody murder and try to attack me?
Yep. Okay. You sneak up, kind of rock to rock. There are a few rocks scattered throughout, trying to stay quiet and hidden. And then get within 30 feet. Dip the hand in, bring it up. And it is slimy.
Ugh.
That's satisfying.
Yeah.
It is seems to be closest to a liquid, but is not. It's not a pool of water that's green. It seems to be something more rotten.
Ugh.
About how many are there in this clearing? Since I'm closer.
You see roughly 6, 7 or so.
And outside of that, no reaction.
No. And you don't hear anything.
Come back to the group. Slimy mess.
Anything in the slimy mess?
Not that I could find.
Pull out the wolf eyeball from 2 days ago that I got.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
Do you want to see how it reacts to something organic?
Bring the mage hand over.
Plop the eyeball into the mage hand.
How does it go?
You take the mage hand over and plop it in?
Well, I would imagine there's still some residual on
Oh,
the mage
yeah.
hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would still be a little bit. You didn't shake it off or anything, so you've got like a little. Okay.
I'm not Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Okay, you set the eyeball in the palm where there's sort of a little pool of residue from the sludgy, slimy, whatever it is, and there is a.
Mm-hmm.
And a slight smoke.
His ass
And
is
it
raw.
smells terrible.
Avoid at all costs.
That looks about right.
Got it.
Do you want this back?
Ugh.
No.
Ugh.
Put it on the ground and dismiss mage hand.
I'll
Well,
take a step forward and just take a moment to listen.
Okay.
And to just extend my senses to hear anything or maybe even feel anything familiar. Specifically
perception
searching
check.
for feelings that I got when I had the dream about the lovely lady, if that's who that was.
Okay.
You want me to roll for anything?
Yeah, perception. Roll a perception check.
Oh, God. That's gonna be a 28.
Oh my heavens! Okay. You step out a few steps and go into full on daredevil listening mode. And you hear the sounds of the creaks of leather from barely movements in the party behind you. The breath from their mouths forming small clouds as it is cold. The shift of their boot on rock. But absolutely silent beyond the party. And with the 28, you feel a weight of emotion on this place that is too heavy for you to identify.
I think they would kind of strain at that strange weight and kind of collapse inwards, not to their knee, but kind of move inwards, and you would see the way that echoes have manifested. It's as if a smoky visage of Ari is leaving them and appearing somewhere else. You kind of see that happening where it's like something is trying to come out, but nothing ends up coming out. Just kind of overwhelmed with this immense weight of emotion.
well, are we going in? Are we?
Edwin had mentioned a strategy of some kind. Did you have any
Which we
suggestions?
would have talked about on the
Yep.
way, but
You can
definitely
absolutely
didn't
say
do that.
you can absolutely say that you talked about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to summarize something specific, or has there been plans been made, or
Plans have not been made yet, and we
Not
will
at
get
all.
to
Okay.
them when we get to them.
okay?
This is the we'll talk about it at a table in a tavern sometime. Kind of.
But it
kind of thing.
had
Or
actually
it had
happened, and
actually
we just
happened. We just
didn't
actually
fit it
do
in because we were having serious moments.
This is like the Guy Ritchie movie where it's a flashback to the planning stage.
Yep.
during the actual heist.
So
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I think more of the plan was trying to keep people from charging ahead as much as humanly possible because it's very hard to mitigate charging coming in. Beyond Leah, who is the one who does the spells.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, how much
Um,
do we want to bet that that's a continuation of a cave, as opposed to a hovel?
Given their track record, I mean,
It's a
sounds
tunnel, for sure.
alright.
I feel like blightlings are the least of our concern in a place like this. Do you remember when we talked to Frida
Mm-hmm.
and that she had a friend who was a Goliath that went missing?
Thurin.
Yeah. What are the odds you think we'll run into him here?
I don't know how I'd feel about that.
And what others have they gathered?
Only
If-
one good way to find out.
You first?
It's a matter
Us
of
first?
reconnaissance versus going in as a group. Understand the importance of somebody not going ahead, however, some element of surprise, if we have any.
Yeah. I think that was more in reference to if we get ambushed. Just don't split off too far. I can't, like you've noticed, cover that far away from me. But I can try. So. And obviously, if something's hitting all of us and we're together, improvise. But yeah, stealth is a lot more important on this one.
Do you want us to go in first?
I mean, Brightwing's got the better eyes too, so probably you two. That's how we did it before, right?
Well, Crocodile Teeth was Faye and I.
Yeah. Brightwing.
I don't know if Brightwing's in the best situation. Are you alright?
I think she's like, at the moment, I think maybe trying to like grow life, but it keeps dying.
Her coping mechanism's not working.
She...
No. She stands up, and I think she's probably standing away from you all. And she turns around, and that scared look that was there is now more of a determined face.
Mm.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Whatever we do, we make sure that we retreat to the group first.
Would you prefer? I just don't want to be very far apart, and I don't like these pools of acid. Could we all get to the other side together and not leave everyone else 100 feet back? I'd
If we can get a
prefer
look,
if they would like wait outside the mouth of the cave.
we can get a look inside. I can get at least 2 of us deep in with moderate detection.
Mm.
But getting to the mouth of the cave would be most important.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Continue talking. Leah's looking at spells.
Well, I don't know how much talking there is left to do.
I don't know.
I think
So you said there's nothing in there, so that you could tell. I mean, he splashed around a little bit. Something.
Again, I can check more of them.
I don't think anything based on the way that eyeball reacted to the acid. I don't think anything biological would last very long in there.
I would be afraid of anything
Nah.
that did come out, though.
Right, if it was enchanted in some way.
Magic's weird.
If we get closer,
Magic's weird.
I'll try a few more, see if there's anything inside, and then we can press on. Maybe try to go around.
That might
To
be
the
a good
cave.
idea.
Or
Yeah.
we don't disturb the pools at all,
Yeah, we just keep
and
going.
just go to the mouth of the cave and try not to stir
Yeah.
up any trouble on the way.
Yeah, I like that better.
Your conscience is clear enough to know that there may be something behind us? That
Yeah,
sounds like
well-
a great plan.
I'm keeping a pretty good eye out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't want to get pinched.
I mean, that's gonna be a high chance no matter what. We're on their turf now, so we gotta be ready for anything.
I think if anything does pop out when we're on the way across, perhaps try to stay together, circle up. Don't let anyone get pushed in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's always the most effective, but I think it might be the safest.
We'll figure it out. The plan has to be adaptable, so
Mhm.
we
Oh, yeah.
just need to get more information.
Plans last about 12 seconds,
Correct.
in my experience.
Yeah.
Clean
That's
your
why-
armor, keep it close. See if we can get up quietly.
Okay, whole party moving up,
Quietly.
and you want to do it stealthily.
I'll
Roll
take the
stealth check.
lead.
Takes a look at
I'll go. Yeah, I'll also go kind of towards the front.
I would also note that we have 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yep.
23.
Leah, how's it going?
19.
Roll number 1.
18.
Roll
Good
number
start.
2. Wow.
7.
Wow. Holy shit.
Ari, I'm
So,
sorry
cool.
you just lost cool points, dude.
All the good rollers rolled first, so saying good start doesn't mean too much.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a dirty 20, Matt.
Wow!
I
Well-
have stealth, I just have disadvantage.
Same.
I rolled a natural 19.
Hmm.
And then
And?
I also rolled a natural 2.
Oh boy.
Rippers.
It's not a 1.
For a
so I
total of?
mean,
2.
Oh, right.
it's not a 1.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And your
Clang,
goal
clang,
is to
clang,
try to
clang.
Yeah.
get up and see inside the opening if you can.
we're trying to go around the pools and get to look inside the open. 120 feet of dark vision.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You make your way up, actually, as the group, pretty quietly. Pretty quietly. Moving between these pools, the smell grows pretty much unbearable. Anyone who has a piece of cloth they can put over their nose and mouth does. It is horrific. But eventually, without hearing a sound, without seeing a sight, you get to an angle where you can see inside the cave. Still nothing that has been perceived by anyone, including our massive passive perception duo. And when you get to that opening, all of you can see the inside. Faintly lit by what look to be small bluish flames. Very small, like candlelight almost. Those with dark vision could see a little deeper and a little clearer. It does not appear to be a tunnel. It appears to be a homestead of some kind. Goes maybe... The main portion of it seems to go maybe 30 or 40 feet back, and then you see a couple small offshoots. But filling the space is not empty rock. You see bookshelves with a variety of what look like old books. You see several shelves with various random objects on them, including a shelf that just seems to be a bunch of pairs of shoes. You see a wooden vial holder with several vials in it. You see a jar with a bunch of small, round objects you can't quite make out exactly what they are. You see what seem to be kind of lined against one wall. Several, what look like, and probably age when you would recognize these best, tanning racks with flesh, organs, skin stretched or hanging across them. Some look animal. Some do not. And one thing that stands out to you, Faye, given your recent comment, you see a small rock that's almost formed into like a little pedestal. And on top of it is a very large humanoid skull. Completely bare. Stripped to just bone. Nothing moving. And that is where we'll pick up session 23.
Gross.
What is this place?
What comment did I make that spurned that?
No,
The
nothing.
Goliath.
The Goliath, maybe.
Oh.
You know,
Oh.
a large humanoid skull picked clean.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the part.
Heck.
Heck.
Well,
Impressive.
yep. Favorite moments from back when this wasn't the situation.
Arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
There was a lot of
Arm
good
wrestling
ones.
was
There's a
fun.
lot of good ones this one.
Did like the arm wrestling. That was fun.
Aeduin's second best conversation of the whole campaign happened this session.
Mm.
That was rad.
Yeah, that whole multitude of conversations was very dope.
It was super.
Once again, this campaign has proved to have the best arguments that I've seen. Where like you actually each time that someone talks, you're like, yeah, I get that point. That makes sense. And then the other one talks, and you're like, wait, I get that point too.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very solid in that regard. There was a bunch of quotes from a bunch of people that were very dope. Mostly Ari'Anu saying things that made everyone question their very existence. But I will say the most hard quote, which I wrote down when it happened, was when Aedwin said, like, basically, friendly warning. If you go the wrong way, one day your mark might end up in my hands. And I was like, damn! God damn!
Sass Queen.
Yeah.
I think I would have enjoyed that more if I was in the right headspace for it. Like, I appreciated it for what it was, but I personally am just kind of like having a day. So
Hmm.
It's been
I
a
was
long
along for the ride.
Yeah. It was a lot of great stuff
Meow,
from
meow.
everybody, I thought. Good session.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we will pick up here.
Oh,
Let's see what's going on next week
oh
in
boy.
session 23. Goodbye, everybody.
Hello.